I found my husband's phone unlocked at 3 a.m., and the last message made my blood run cold. I love you too. Can't wait until she's finally gone. From my best friend Sarah. Let me back up. Let me tell you how I got here. Staring at those words on a glowing screen in my dark bedroom, my hands trembling so badly I almost dropped the phone. Let me tell you about how everything I thought I knew about my life was a carefully constructed lie. My name is Emma, and this is the story of how I lost everything to the two people I loved most in the world. I met Sarah when we were 7 years old. First day of second grade, she sat next to me with her Hello Kitty lunchbox and shared her fruit snacks with me. From that moment on, we were inseparable. We did everything together, sleepovers, every weekend, matching Halloween costumes, double dates in high school. She was there when my mom died when I was 16. I was there when her parents got divorced. We went to the same college, were roommates for 3 years. She wasn't just my best friend, she was my sister. And then there was Jake. I met him during our senior year of college at a mutual friend's party. He was charming, funny, and had this way of making me feel like I was the only person in the room. Sarah was actually the one who encouraged me to talk to him that night. Go for it, Em, she'd said, pushing me toward him with a smile. He's totally checking you out. Our first date was magical. Jake took me to this little Italian restaurant downtown, and we talked for hours. He told me about his dreams of becoming an architect, about the house he wanted to build someday with big windows and a garden. I told him about my passion for teaching, about wanting to make a difference in kids' lives the way my favorite teacher had done for me. Sarah loved Jake from the start, or at least that's what she told me. You two are perfect together, she'd gush. I'm so happy for you, Emma. You deserve this. She was always there, always supportive, always excited about our relationship, milestones. When Jake proposed after 3 years of dating, Sarah cried almost as much as I did. She was my maid of honor, obviously. Who else would it have been? The first few years of marriage were exactly what I dreamed of. Jake's architecture firm was doing well, and I'd landed my dream job teaching 3rd grade at an elementary school I loved. We bought our first house, not the dream house Jake had described on our first date, but a cozy starter home with a small yard and enough room to grow. Sarah was over all the time. She'd had a string of bad relationships and was single again, so we included her in everything. Movie nights every Friday, Sunday brunches. She had a key to our house and used it freely. Mi casa is su casa, Jake would always say, laughing as Sarah let herself in with coffee and bagels on Saturday mornings. Looking back now, I can see all the signs I missed. The way Sarah's hand would linger on Jake's shoulder just a moment too long. How she always seemed to be there whenever I had to work late. The inside jokes they developed that I wasn't part of. But at the time, I just thought it was nice that my husband and best friend got along so well. Naive doesn't even begin to cover it. We took a trip to Hawaii for our 5th anniversary, me, Jake, and yes, Sarah. I didn't think it was weird at the time that she came along on our anniversary trip. She'd just gone through a bad breakup, and I wanted her to feel loved and included. We have so many photos from that trip. The 3 of us at the beach, at Luau's, hiking Diamond Head. In every photo, I'm smiling, oblivious, while Jake and Sarah exchange glances I never noticed. Things started changing around our 6th year of marriage. Small things at first. Jake became more distant, always working late. He was less interested in our usual routines. Movie nights became rare. Sunday brunches were too early for him. He was always tired. When I'd try to be intimate, he'd claim he was exhausted from work or stressed about a big project. Maybe he's just going through something, Sarah would say when I'd confide in her. Men get weird sometimes. Just give him space. Be patient. He loves you, Emma. I can see it. I trusted her advice. She was my best friend. She wanted what was best for me, right? Meanwhile, Sarah seemed to be around even more than usual. She'd pop by when Jake was home, but I was at work. Just wanted to borrow that book you mentioned, she'd text. Or Jake said he'd help me hang some shelves. Hope that's okay. Of course it was okay. They were both important people in my life. Why wouldn't I want them to be friends? But then came the password changes. Jake had always been open with his phone. We knew each other's passwords. No secrets. But suddenly, his phone had a new password. Oh, work made us update our security, he said casually when I asked. Banking information and client data. You know how it is. It made sense. I let it go. The late nights increased, the work dinners and client meetings piled up. Our conversations became shorter, more superficial. When I suggested couples therapy, he got defensive. There's nothing wrong with us, Emma. I'm just stressed about work. Don't make problems where there aren't any. Sarah continued to be my rock through all of this. Every complaint, every worry, Every tear, she was there to listen, to comfort, to advise. He's probably just stressed, she'd say. You know how men are about their careers. He'll come around, just be patient and supportive. It was a Tuesday night, about 8 months ago, when I first felt real suspicion gnaw at my gut. I'd come home early from a teacher conference that got canceled, and Jake's car was in the driveway. That was unusual. He'd said he'd be at a client dinner until late. I walked in quietly, not wanting to startle him if he was on a work call. The house was quiet, too quiet. I walked through the living room, the kitchen, no Jake, but I heard something upstairs, soft voices, laughter. I climbed the stairs, my heart pounding for reasons I didn't want to examine. The sounds were coming from our bedroom. I pushed the door open. Jake was there, sitting on our bed, fully clothed. His laptop was open in front of him. He jumped when he saw me, quickly closing it. Emma, you're home early. How was the conference? It got canceled. What are you doing home? The dinner got pushed to tomorrow. I was just catching up on some work. He smiled, but something was off. His smile didn't reach his eyes. I heard voices. Were you on a call? Just a quick video conference with a client? You know how it is. I nodded, but that feeling in my gut didn't go away. Something was wrong. I just couldn't put my finger on what. Over the next few months, the strange occurrences multiplied. I'd catch Jake quickly switching screens on his laptop when I'd enter a room. His phone was always face down now, and he carried it everywhere, even to the bathroom. The late nights became later. The business trips more frequent. And Sarah was always there with an explanation, a reassurance, a reason why I shouldn't worry. Emma, honey, you're being paranoid, she'd say gently. Jake loves you. He's just busy with work. Trust your husband. Trust your marriage. I wanted to trust. I really did. But something deep inside me, some primal instinct, was screaming that something was very, very wrong. 3 months ago, I started having trouble sleeping. Insomnia, my doctor called it stress-related. She prescribed some medication, but I tried to avoid taking it unless absolutely necessary. That's why I was awake at 3 a.m. on that night. The night everything changed. I'd gotten up to get some water, and when I came back to the bedroom, I saw Jake's phone on his nightstand, screen glowing. He'd gotten a message, and he hadn't locked his phone before falling asleep. I picked it up. I don't know what made me do it. Maybe all those months of weird behavior had finally gotten to me. Maybe some part of me knew what I was about to find. The message was from Sarah, my best friend of 23 years. I love you too. Can't wait until she's finally gone. My hands started shaking. I felt like I couldn't breathe. This had to be a mistake, a misunderstanding. Sarah was my best friend. Jake was my husband. This couldn't be real. But I kept reading. I scrolled up through their messages, and with each one, my world crumbled a little more. Jake, dinner was torture tonight. I wanted to reach across the table and hold your hand instead of hers. Sarah, I know. Baby, soon. Just a little longer. The lawyer said if we wait another 6 months, there's more ground for irreconcilable differences. Jake, I'm tired of pretending. I'm tired of lying to her. I want to be with you. Sarah, I know. I'm tired too, but we have to be smart about this. If she finds out about us before the divorce, she could take everything. Your bee's nest, the house, everything we've worked for. I scrolled further back. The messages went on for months, years, actually. I found messages from our anniversary trip to Hawaii. They'd been sneaking off together while I slept. Messages from Sarah's apartment, from our house, from hotels across the city. And then I found something that made my blood run cold. A message from over 2 years ago. Sarah, I can't believe it's been 5 years already. 5 years of waiting for you to finally leave her. Jake, I know. But we talked about this. We have to be patient. Build up my business first. Get everything in my name. Then when the divorce happens, she can't take it all. Sarah, you said that 2 years ago. I'm tired of being the other woman. Jake, I want to be your wife. Jake, you will be. I promise. Emma's too trusting to ever suspect anything. We just need a little more time. 5 years. They've been doing this for 5 years, since the beginning of my marriage. Maybe even before. I kept scrolling, and that's when I found the photos. Photos of them together. Intimate photos. Photos from places I recognized: our house, Sarah's apartment, even the beach house we'd rented last summer for a friend's weekend getaway. There were screenshots too. Sarah had sent Jake screenshots of our text conversations. The ones where I'd confided in her about my marriage problems, about my suspicions, about my fears. Sarah, She's starting to suspect something. She asked me today if I thought you were cheating. Jake, what did you tell her? Sarah, I told her she was being paranoid, that you love her and she should trust her husband. She believed me, of course she always does. God, she's so pathetically trusting. Jake, don't be mean. I know she can be naive, but she's a good person. Sarah, a good person who's in the way of us being together. I'm done playing the supportive best friend. Jake, it's making me sick. When are you finally going to end this? I sat there on my bedroom floor, phone in hand, reading message after message, and I felt like I was dying. Every good memory I had was tainted. Every moment of the last 5 years, maybe longer, was a lie. The girls' nights where Sarah would listen to me talk about my marriage problems while secretly sleeping with my husband. The times she'd encouraged me to give Jake space when he was pulling away, because he was pulling away to be with her. The advice to trust your husband so I wouldn't find out about their affair. She'd been sabotaging my marriage while pretending to support it. She'd been playing the role of concerned best friend while actively destroying my life. And Jake, the man I'd trusted, loved, built a life with, he'd been planning our divorce for years, strategically positioning his assets, so I'd get as little as possible when he finally left me for my best friend. I didn't sleep that night. I couldn't. I sat in the dark, reading through years of messages, crying silently, trying to process the magnitude of the betrayal. By the time the sun came up, my tears had dried. I was past sadness. I was angry. No, I was furious. Jake woke up around 7 a.m., completely oblivious. He stretched, smiled at me. Morning, babe. You're up early. I looked at him. This man I'd loved for 9 years. This stranger, we need to talk. Something in my voice must have alerted him. His smile faded. About what? I held up his phone. About Sarah. I watched the color drain from his face. It would have been satisfying if my heart wasn't breaking into a million pieces. Emma, I don't. My voice was steady, cold. Don't you dare lie to me. Not anymore. I read everything, every message, every plan, every lie. 5 years, Jake. You've been doing this for 5 years. He sat up, ran his hands through his hair. For a moment, he looked like he might try to deny it, but then he just deflated. I'm sorry, he whispered. You're sorry? I laughed, but there was no humor in it. You're sorry. You've been sleeping with my best friend for 5 years. You've been planning our divorce, hiding our assets, using me, and you're sorry. It wasn't supposed to happen like this. How was it supposed to happen? Jake, you were going to keep lying to me? Keep using me? Until what? Until you'd successfully hidden enough money that I'd be left with nothing. He didn't answer. He didn't have to. I want you out today. Pack your things and get out of my house. Please, let's talk about this. There's nothing to talk about. I want you out. And I want you to know that I'm not going to make this easy. You wanted to plan for the divorce? Well, congratulations. It's here. And I have screenshots of everything. His eyes widened. You can't. I can. And I will. You thought I was too naive, too trusting. You and Sarah both did. You thought I'd never find out. And if I did, I'd be too heartbroken to fight back. You were wrong. Jake moved out that day. I called in sick to work. I couldn't face a classroom full of 80-year-olds when my entire life was falling apart. Sarah called me around noon. The irony wasn't lost on me. Hey, Em, just checking in. Want to grab lunch? We haven't hung out in a while. I almost laughed. She had no idea. I knew. She was still playing the role of concerned best friend. Actually, Sarah, I'd love to meet up. Can you come over? Of course. Is everything okay? You sound upset? Just come over. We need to talk. She arrived 30 minutes later with coffees and pastries from our favorite bakery, always playing the part. I opened the door and saw her standing there with that familiar smile, the one I'd trusted for 23 years, the one that had hidden a monster. Come in! She walked past me, chattering about her morning. So I saw the cutest dress at that boutique downtown, and I immediately thought of you. You can drop the act, Sarah. I know. She froze, turned around slowly. No, what? I held up my phone, showing her the screenshots of their messages. Everything. I know everything. I watched her face cycle through emotions, surprise, panic, fear, and then something that shocked me. Relief. Thank God, she breathed. I'm so tired of pretending. I stared at her. That's what you have to say. Thank God. She set down the coffee and pastries, her whole demeanor changing. The warmth was gone, replaced by something cold and hard. Oh, please. Emma, don't look at me like that. You want me to apologize? To grovel? I'm not going to. You were my best friend for 23 years. And for how many of those years was I really your friend, Emma? Think about it. Really think about it. I didn't know what to say, she continued, her voice bitter. You know what it's been like? Watching you have everything, perfect grades in school, perfect college experience, the perfect eye, the perfect job, the perfect life. Everything always worked out for you. While I struggled with everything, that's not true. It is true. You know how many times I had to comfort you about some tiny problem while my entire life was falling apart? While my parents were getting divorced, you were worried about getting an A-. While I was working 2 jobs to pay for college, you were upset that Jake had to postpone a date. I didn't know because you never asked. You never saw past your own perfect little bubble. And Jake, God, I saw him first that night at the party. I was going to talk to him, but you walked in and suddenly it was all about Emma again. So I stepped aside, like I always did, but then I realized something. Why should I step aside? Why couldn't I have something I wanted for once? So you decided to sleep with my husband. I decided to take what should have been mine from the start. And you know what? Jake wanted me to... He chose me. Emma, not you. Me. He married me because I told him you'd be devastated if he didn't. That we had to be patient. It was my idea to wait to plan everything out. Do you know how many times I listened to you complain about your marriage while knowing I was the reason it was falling apart? It was delicious. I felt sick. This woman I'd loved, trusted, considered a sister. She was a complete stranger. Maybe she always had been. I want you to leave, I said quietly. And I never want to see you again. She laughed, gladly. I'm done pretending to care about your boring problems anyway. Jake and I are going to be together now, and there's nothing you can do about it. Actually, there is. Those messages, the ones where you two discuss hiding assets and planning the divorce. My lawyer thinks they're very interesting. Conspiracy to commit fraud, alienation of affection. You might want to get yourself a good lawyer too, Sarah. Her face went pale. You wouldn't watch me? She left. I haven't seen or spoken to her since. The divorce is still ongoing. It's been 3 months of hello lawyers, paperwork, depositions. But those messages I found, they've been incredibly helpful. Turns out judges don't look kindly on people who plan to defraud their spouses in a divorce. Jake and Sarah are together now, publicly. They live in an apartment downtown. Jake didn't get the house like he planned. I got it, along with half of his business assets. Turns out all that planning to hide things from me actually worked against him when presented to a judge as evidence of intentional deception. I see their photos sometimes on social media before I remember to stop torturing myself and close the app. They look happy. Maybe they are. Maybe they deserve each other. Some days are harder than others. I lost my husband and my best friend in the same moment. I lost 23 years of friendship that I thought was real. I lost 9 years of a marriage I thought was solid. I lost every memory that I thought was genuine. I'm in therapy now, working through the betrayal, the trust issues, the trauma of realizing the 2 people closest to you were secretly destroying your life while pretending to love you. But I'm also learning things about myself. I'm learning that I'm stronger than I thought. I'm learning that I can survive this. I'm learning to set better boundaries, to trust my instincts, to not ignore red flags in the name of being trusting and loving. I'm learning that sometimes the people who hurt us most are the ones we never suspected. That betrayal doesn't always come from strangers or enemies. Sometimes it comes from the people sitting at your dinner table, sleeping in your bed, crying on your shoulder while they stab you in the back. My students have been a blessing through all of this. They don't know what I'm going through, but their innocence, their joy, their simple problems remind me that there's still good in the world, that not everyone is cruel, that trust isn't foolish, it's brave. I'm dating again. Nothing serious yet, but I'm trying. It's hard to open up, hard to trust, hard to believe someone when they say they care, but I'm trying. I haven't spoken to Sarah or Jake since that day. I blocked them on everything. I hear things from mutual friends sometimes, most of whom dropped both of them when they found out what happened. Apparently, I wasn't the only one disgusted by their behavior. I heard they got engaged. Part of me wants to feel something about that anger, sadness, something, but mostly I just feel ... nothing. They're strangers to me now. Ghosts of people I thought I knew but never really did. The hardest part isn't missing Jake, surprisingly. It's missing Sarah. Or missing who I thought Sarah was. I miss having a best friend to call when something good happens. I miss having someone who knows my whole history, my whole story, but that person never existed. She was a character Sarah played, and now the show is over. I'm building a new life now. New friends, new routines, new dreams, a life that's just mine, built on truth instead of lies. Is it better than my old life? I don't know yet. Ask me in a year, but it's real. And that's something. If you've discovered that your best friend and partner had been betraying you for years, could you ever trust anyone again? How would you move forward? I'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences in the comments below.